What's up and welcome back to another Exfil Zone guide. Now I get a lot of questions, I'm going to try to address everything that I can in today's video. We're about a month deep into the wipe, so a lot of people might be maxed out already, but for the majority of us, I imagine most of us are around level 3 on the traders. If you're not level 3, that is fine. I do recommend just hitting your terminal and tasking up. Whoa, hold that thought. I do have a sponsor for today's video. Today's video is sponsored by Wield VR. Their one-stock gun stock is advertised as the best damn VR gun stock on the planet. Frankly, when I got a hold of it, I thought they were probably just being smug. However, after pulling it out of the package, I can easily see that this is very premium. It even comes with a bipod. But who's laying down when they're playing? Stand and fight! Now I jumped right in the showdown and started playing with the target range a little bit. What I like most about it is it does have adjustments on the fly. You don't have to sit here and play with a little wrench or anything like that. They have quick release levers and wing nuts. I didn't even have to take my headset off to adjust. With the one-stock gun stock, I did not have to do any calibration whenever I jumped in. All the guns were lining up perfectly. And I do believe that's because of how easily adjustable this gun stock is. And if you use the link below, you will get a $20 free add-on, so don't forget to click the link. It's going to be pinned in the comments. Now let's get back to the guide. You come here and just accept any of the tasks you have left over. Now some of them will unlock from doing other tasks. This is pretty much the progression system. So if you don't have anything for Arc, but yet he's just a level 3, you probably got to finish some other things before Arcs pops up. The reason I try to run through the tasks is because once I get to around level 3, I'm a little more comfortable with the gear that I can buy and the guns that I can buy. I use Arc because I go for the HKs, the RC, and the M4A1 mod. And of course this XM5 spear here is amazing. Of course if you max out Maximilian, this is the gear guy. He's going to give you the best of the gear that you can purchase. But there is better gear out there in which you cannot buy. So for the people who do not have really good gear, here's what you can do. You can jump into a scav raid and you can come over to the resort area by the bank. You can farm this SWAT team boss. He does give you some pretty good armor. Now on top of that, if you manage to get the Bone Crusher, this is some really good gear as well. I believe this is equivalent to that of the Metro boss. I'm not quite sure because when I throw it on a mannequin, it tells me different specs. And this mannequin here is to repair your armor. Do this whenever you take any damage, or just check it. My rule of thumb is always check before you go in. And in order to do this, you will need to have the power on. I'm assuming people do have their power on already. That is part of the progression as well. You just gotta break through your tasks until you hit Johnny. Johnny's gonna be giving you a task called Lights On. Whenever you complete that, your item will go into the kiosk. It's gonna be a gas can. You just come over to the generator, dump the gas on there, and then flick the lights on. After that, you're gonna have to purchase your gas from upstairs at the market. Now another place you can go to farm some gear is the mall. This mall boss has the best armor rig. Now if you mix that with the Metro boss's helmet, you have the best gear in the game. And then one that you won't be able to do as a scav will be in Metro, so whenever you do spend the 200,000 to get into Metro, track down the boss, kill him, and take his rig. Again, all of these bosses do have chances of spawning, meaning that they're not going to be here 24/7. They're not going to be here every single time, so you got to go in there multiple times looking for it. Now along with leveling up your vendors comes better ammo. I can't stress this enough. Just looking at this, I'm going to bring this warrior helmet into the shooting range. I'm going to use FMJ and shoot it. You can see that it doesn't do much. Now I'm going to switch over to the M80 rounds. It's just going to one tap. Sad, I do think this needs a slight buff because it shouldn't be just one tap. This is a level 3 helmet, but that's just my opinion. Now the head can only take 35 damage, so if you take the specs into the helmets into consideration, you can find out which ones are going to be one tap. Now if your face is not covered, such as if you use this OP helmet here, you can see that the eyes are not covered. Just shoot for the eyes, it's going to be a one tap with any weapon. Now with level 3, you can get medium ammo. However, if you go into the vaults with the safes, such as like this bank vault, which you can speed run non-stop, you can get some better ammo. Top of the line ammo does have a chance to spawn into these safes. Now speaking of which, having some money routes to sit here and continuously run does help because you can build up your money buffer here. That way when you do lose gear, it doesn't hurt so bad. So do know, no matter what, you will die in this game. And when you die, you're gonna lose all of the stuff on you.
Eating bullets, dude?
So you can put your safe container into effect here. Now, I only use this as a medical container currently, but I do swap out the items if I do come across anything that I do want to keep. The reason why I keep this safe container as my medical box is mainly because when I get into fights with people, I'm gonna drop my bag so I can stay light and I can still heal. Staying light and agile during fights is very key for me because I am a movement goblin. I try to run, jump, slide any way to keep them from shooting my head. And that's mainly because I run helmets that don't block my vision, and the helmets that block the vision are usually the ones ones that are the top tier helmets. The helmet that I mainly use the most is the warrior helmet. But again, as I showed you before, it is a one-tapped helmet. So if you're looking to do movement like me, I recommend going into your settings, go down here and make sure you're not on the left hand, make it headset movement. And then come over here and make sure you have virtual crouching to on, and then make sure you calibrate. So I do this every time I load in just in case, because there are times whenever you go in virtual crouch, you're not gonna slide. So now you can run, jump, slide, jump, run, jump, slide. You have to keep an eye on your stamina here, which is why I always drop the bag whenever I can, and I always try to stay light. And speaking of backpack and stamina, if there's an area that you can't jump up on, lay your bag on it, jump up there, and then grab your bag. Now, hideout upgrades are essential here. First one I unlocked was the generator and the water. Now, the generator came with the task from Lights On from Johnny, and the water, as soon as I unlocked that, it's just so I can refill my water bottles. Now, I had some comments on the water bottle refilling. This only works for the orange water bottles. You can't refill your plastic water bottles. You can't drink part of it and then refill it. It's only the orange water bottles. Flip the lid up, put it underneath, hold the flap. The sofa upgrade helps you carry more stuff. This will boost how much weight you can hold. Right now I'm only on level 1. Level 2, I have to get my generator up to level 2, so I'm going after that right now. For level 2 generator, I gotta collect all this stuff, and what I'm stuck on, I have the blue cables, but I don't have all of these transformers. I have been finding these transformers over here in the dorm area, also over here by the apartments and resort, and in Dam, there's a bunch of them from what I'm being told. And when you open up medical, you just gotta get this area where you can put your syringes into. Then you have access to all these that you can unlock. Go over to the operator bed and unlock that one. So this one's going to give you free heals every hour. So if you die or take damage during any raid, instead of having to pay to heal up here by Maggie, you can just heal right next to where you spawn in at for free. You only get one of those every hour. Now, one thing I do want to mention is I always hoard a bunch of these tiny little syringes. That way, whenever I do have these moments, if I die, I can just use these tiny syringes. So these tiny syringes are pretty much throwaway syringes that I use just to heal myself whenever I die. So this will save you a little bit of cash. But the biggest advice I can give here is I usually run with a team. It's me and Hideki. I'm usually a duo. There's times out there where we can actually just wipe a whole lobby and have the lobby to ourselves and just use that time to loot everything. And there's other times when you go up against people and you're just having bad times. Like, I've had a bad week. I went out there and just lost gear after gear after gear. So it's during those times that you got to take the small wins. You got to just go out there. If you kill some people, do your task, do what you need to do, grab some stuff, and then head out. It could be like a 5-minute raid. As long as you're going out with more stuff than you did when you came in, it's a small win. Well, that wasn't the heist, but we ended up with a bunch of stuff because there was a big fight right there. And those small wins add up. It's mainly all about surviving the raid. So one thing that I like to do is when we go up against players, we count the players. If there's 2 players there, then we know that those 2 plus us 2, 4. You take that into consideration with each map. With resort, there's 9 people, so there's 5 more players left. And keep in mind, player scavs are a thing as well. They come in usually about 10 to 12 minutes deep into a raid. But I guess the best example would be Metro. You spend 200,000 to get in, there's only 6 players. So if there's 3 of you, then there's only 3 other players. If there's 2 of you, there's going to be 4 other players, with the potential of having a 7th player in there, because I have seen that quite a bit in Metro. And another indicator to know that all the players are dead is when the scavs are just running crazy. They get really aggressive in Metro when you kill everybody, so you're just going to hear them running all over the place. So if you wipe the whole lobby instead of just chasing all of the valuables, you can have the whole lobby to yourself to loot. This is something that I usually try to do. But again, if you're not that confident in yourself, if you don't think you're going to be winning the player versus player, then take the small wins. Stay on the outskirts of the map, work your way into the areas that you need to, grab a couple high value items, and then head out. When you kill scavs, you can take their rigs as well. You can take their guns, their helmets, everything off of them. Some of them wear backpacks, which is one of the reasons why I hit Metro, because the scavs in Metro carry the big backpacks, and I never really have to buy bags because I just go into Metro and I come back with like 3 of them. So continue to rotate the map, play on the outskirts, grab what you can, and just head out. I guarantee if you do this, you can stay away from the players this way, and you can manage to get everything that you need to, with the exception of tasks, because the tasks do call out certain areas that you gotta go into, and usually those are high traffic areas. But in most cases, what you can do is you just run in there naked. This way you don't lose anything, and then use your butt wallet for heals and keep yourself alive. You can bring in the tiniest backpack if you need. For me, when I'm going through tough times, I'll just throw this camera right into a tiny backpack and just run around naked, taking pictures of everything that I can. Now, for players who do not know this, you can adjust your scopes. And if you need to familiarize yourself with guns, you can just go right into the tutorial here and you can play with all of it right here. So So you can adjust your scopes, you can figure out which optics you like best, you can figure out which gun you like best. Also, I do recommend playing training mode. This will put you into the game with the current gear that you have, and you will not lose your gear when you die. You also can't keep anything from the game whenever you do exfil. This is pretty much just player versus environment practice. This will not only help you get familiar with the guns, this will help you get familiar with the maps, this will help you with some map placement, some situational awareness, this will help you figure out how you want to maneuver around the map, so I do recommend giving training a go. And you can do this with any of the 4 current maps. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like. I definitely appreciate all you guys checking this out, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out till then.
Yeah, there's one right here. Laid on me. Jesus freaking Christ.
Got him. There's a third one somewhere. Trying to throw grenades at me. How am I stuck? Oh, he wants to play through this? That's right, you did. You and your 50 fucking grenades.